At this point, I would like to confer certificates upon our military officers who've studied with us for the last year. For those of you that don't know, the Institute of World Politics has had a relationship with the U.S. Army leadership for a number of years, where they send their emerging mid-grade officers, future leaders, strategists to IWP to study with scholars, to participate in our conferences and our seminars. And at this point, I would like to honor those who have completed their work. Some of you are in the midst of completing your work. So at this point, I'd like to call out each of you one at a time and tell a little bit about your background so you all know from where they come and where they are headed to. Lieutenant Colonel Charmaine E. Betty Singleton. Before arriving to IWP, Lieutenant Colonel Betty Singleton, a native of Kingston, Jamaica, was the staff judge advocate of U.S. Army Garrison at Fort Buchanan Installation Legal Office. She's a JAG officer, a lawyer in the U.S. Army. At IWP, Lieutenant Colonel Betty Singleton's research focused on the relationship between civil liberties and national security. She has specifically studied the role of the FBI under former Director J. Edgar Hoover and examined whether the methods he used are currently warranted given the nature of today's threats to national security. She will now go on to an assignment, to garrison assignment as a staff judge advocate at Fort Hunter Liggett in Jolan, California. Congratulations. Colonel Edward Pye Chamberlain. Before IWP, Colonel Chamberlain was the Chief of the Program Integration Branch, Office of the Chief of Engineers, the headquarters department of the U.S. Army Staff at the Pentagon. Prior to that, he served as the Commander and District Engineer of the Charleston District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers from 2011 to 13, where he's responsible for civil works construction and maintenance. At IWP, Colonel Chamberlain's research focused on the potential risks and rewards with fracking and its influence on U.S. Army infrastructure. He's going on to command Baltimore District of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Congratulations. Chaplain Colonel Samuel K. Godfrey, we know him as Ken, was commissioned as an Army chaplain in 1990 and served the United States Army Reserve and Army National Guard, South Carolina, until accessioning to active duty in 1993. His assignments have included Germany, Bosnia, Iraq, Fort Hood, which is in Texas, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, Arlington National Cemetery, and the Pentagon. At IWP, Chaplain Godfrey's research focused on religious liberty and how it provides for a greater national security. He's going to go on to an assignment in the Office of the Chief of Chaplains as Director of Family Ministries. Chaplain Colonel William E. Godwin Stremler. Chaplain Stremler is an ordained minister in the Reformed Church of America. Leading up to IWP, he worked in the Pentagon projecting overall strength, numbers, and promotions for chaplains in the Army worldwide. His research at IWP focused on ways of defining cultures by using a model created by social psychologist Garrett Hufstede, with whom he worked closely throughout this project. The goal of this project is ultimately to provide a framework to help the United States in its international relations and statecraft by defining what other cultures see as important. He's moving on, get a load of this, to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, to become chaplain of all Army direct religious support for Hawaii. Congratulations. Finally, we have Lieutenant Colonel Gladys Constantina Turnbull, a native of St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. She was commissioned as a military intelligence officer and has spent the last 27 years in the intelligence and operations fields as an M-Day trooper. I don't know what that is. Just prior to IWP, Lieutenant Colonel Turnbull was a training division chief, Director of Operations and Training, Joint Forces Headquarters, Virgin Islands National Guard. Her research focus here at IWP was on the United States cybersecurity policy for the 21st century. She has not yet completed her requirements for the Army Fellowship, but we look forward to completing them soon, and she will be moving on to the Deputy G4 of Virgin Islands National Guard. Congratulations. Okay. Oh, sure.
Sorry to steal the microphone. Again, on behalf of all the fellows here, we come from a wide background, as you've heard, from lawyers to experts in intel, chaplains, a humble engineer. We come from a background where we're very experts in tactical areas and sometimes very narrow focus. And on all of us, want to thank the Institute for your welcoming of all of us, allowing us to be curious, allow us to explore things, and really broaden our aperture for all things national security and international affairs and things that we have not been exposed to before, to both make us personally better stewards and better citizens, but also better professionally in our chosen careers and moving forward. To all the graduates and the students of all IWP, thank you for accepting us into your fold, into your classes. Sorry we didn't always work as hard as you did. But again, thank you. Thanks for inviting us to both academic and social activities. Thanks to the faculty for, again, including us in all the conversations. We may know a little bit about the military side, but when it comes to diplomacy and economics, information affairs, and just statecraft in general, we learned a lot from you. And then finally, to the president and really to all the staff and faculty here, I really want to thank you. We have a gift for you as well. It is a print of General Hancock during the Battle of Gettysburg. It is a symbol of leadership, and it really represents what we believe is leadership that you and the Institute display every day on behalf of all the students, and it really expresses our thanks as the military fellows here at IWP. So thank you. Get a photo there. Come over here. Come on, step up. Come on, here we go.
Thank you, Ed. I just wanted to say that we've had a long relationship now for many years with the U.S. Army, and we have been very privileged that it has sent every year a number of colonel-ranked officers to study with us in lieu of going to War College. And I can only say that the caliber, intellectual and moral caliber of these officers is nothing short of inspiring. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we who have lived with these fellows, as well as with other Army officers who've been sent to IWP, are just very grateful that we have one major institution in this country that pays such attention to the moral leadership qualities that these officers represent. So I thank you so much, and I thank the Army.